Back by popular demand is my dad, or otherwise known as Florida Man. We had a lot of fun talking about
Hi, everybody.
yeah, yesterday about everything that the Clearwater mayor said not to do in his interview with Fox News Channel this morning. I don't know if you've seen that, but one of the things he was very adamant about was getting out early and not waiting and not being complacent and not sticking around. I don't know if you would say you were complacent, but you definitely did stick around. You are on the beach as Ian is making landfall. So maybe we should start there, Dad. Before we talk about what you see outside your window, and you're inside because your phone's not working because something's up with the cell service there.
Yes.
Uh, would you say you were complacent, or why did you make the decision to stick around? And thank you for wearing your rain jacket. We are both wearing our rain jacket
Yes.
indoors, which should say something about our sanity. Go ahead, Dad.
No, not complacent. Not really courageous. Just I've been through this before. I've panicked before. I've gotten out early before, and all I did was get on the wrong side of the hurricane and have more danger, more in trouble getting back. And so this time I decided, why not wait until 12 hours away and just have a wait and see attitude rather than watch the news and panic. So it's just been a cool, calm thing. And it's very interesting to me that I didn't have to make any decision. The decision was made for me. It became obvious as I watched the hurricane track, and everybody was panicking, calling me, text messaging, saying, "Are you okay out there? Wow, it's turning to the east. Oh no," and on and on. And I'm just sitting here doing my regular life, doing some videos. I ate lunch outside today. It was a pretty nice day.
Ceta Scott says, "This is all the news I'm watching today. I hope your family is safe." Well, you will definitely get a different perspective on Ian on this broadcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's show everybody this video you just shot outside your house. So you live on the Gulf of Mexico. Ian has made landfall. What, about 2-3 hours south of you?
Yeah, about 3 hours. Yes, in between Sarasota and Fort Myers, just north of Fort Myers, which would be about 3.5 hours. So yeah, about 3 hours south. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And originally it was projected to go right to your house. This is
Yeah.
this is what it looks like right now. We'll take a listen. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Dr. Chip here, reporting from Clearwater Beach. 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and the hurricane has just hit land, and the wind is starting to die down a little bit. The tide has been low tide all day long. The water's just sucked out of Tampa Bay. I got a little bit of sand in my face, but otherwise I can take my hood down. No big deal. A little gust of wind there. But the safest place to be during this hurricane has turned out to be Clearwater Beach. The hurricane is going right adjacent to Tampa through Fort Myers, and I'm glad I stayed here. Wisdom has been given to me over this third hurricane that I've gone through. Okay, I'm turning it off.
Okay. So somebody says the highways could be closed by the time you want to leave. Jack says that, and that's our new producer's name. So shout out to all the Jacks out there. What do you think about that? Saying, hey, you're not gonna be able to get out when you want to if you just wait around.
That is a scare tactic in my experience. I don't know exactly what's going on today, but generally the rules are you won't be able to get back on if you leave, but you can leave anytime. They won't come get you if you call for help. If you call 911 after the winds hit 40 miles an hour, which they haven't yet, but if they were to hit 40 miles an hour, they won't come get you. But you can always drive off. You can always go last minute, say, yeah, I see the model and the winds are getting up to about 40 miles an hour. I think I'll drive away. And I can drive a lot faster than a storm. A storm goes about 10, 12 miles an hour. And you can go 40, 50 miles an hour in your car. And if you wait last minute, you know exactly what direction to go to avoid the hurricane.
I told my class there would be manatee strandings in Tampa Bay as the hurricanes move south of the previous prediction. Have you seen any stranded manatees?
I have not, but about a week ago we went swimming, and I almost got hit by a manatee. There were three of them swimming right by us, me and my friend in the Gulf, and he pushed me aside. He said, "Watch out! This one's coming really close." And it almost brushed against me, and it had little barnacles on it, so it might have scratched, but they weigh about 1,000 pounds. I almost got knocked over in shallow water. It wasn't over my head. Still, I've not heard of that, but that can be a real problem. The manatees are as smart as cows and as big as cows, and I imagine that they don't have the sense of birds to get out of the way.
I wanted to give your locals community a shout out so people
Thank you.
know they can follow you at what it's drchipabrahamson.locals.com, right? And you spell doctor
Spell it out.
DOCT.
Yes, yes, for health, including stress, not stress management, but how to overcome stress, how to be your own person, how to make decisions properly, how to avoid all this stuff in the world that's trying to make you overreact so that they can control you, and how to interact with the people and with the world, not avoid it, not run away, but not overreact and make your own decisions at the right time. How to have a wait and see attitude, like I did for this hurricane, and also traditional food, really nutrient dense food. So many people are eating processed food with low nutrition. They're vitamin D deficient. They're getting COVID, and it's very easy to avoid that. So come to my channel and check it out. I think you'll find at least one or two that might help you have a healthier life.
Jack adds that he remembers in 2004 they closed the Suncoast. Luckily, I was already on the Suncoast when they closed it.
Yes, they'll close bridges when the wind gets really high. That's true. So you can't get out over a bridge when the wind is 70 miles an hour. That's true. Yeah, the major bridges. I don't know that they closed like the Causeway Bridge, the tiny bridge that we have here. But the major bridges, they'll close them once the wind gets high. So you do have to get out before the wind gets 50 miles an hour.
Allison asked Dad if he thinks the Clearwater area will be spared. I am supposed to be there on the 13th of October. It sounds like you guys are going to be okay.
Yeah, 100%. There's just the wind is supposed to possibly pick up until midnight tonight as it goes by south of Tampa. But the winds also die down once the hurricane hits land. And I think the wind has peaked. I've gone outside several times today, and it's hardly anything out there right now. It blew some dead branches off some palm trees earlier, but now it doesn't even feel at all dangerous to me. I was looking over my shoulder earlier, make sure that there's no debris flying. But now it's starting to calm down, and I think that's because the hurricane has hit land, and the high wind speeds and gusts are starting to drop. That doesn't mean that a tornado could possibly hit here and there and cause some damage, but in general, there's no damage here. There's no surge. The restaurants are going to be open on Friday probably, and the government buildings will be open on Monday. And the hurricane party comes after the hurricane, not before. But I think everybody's going to be celebrating here on Clearwater Beach. And on October 13th, when you get here, I think you'll be pleased to see it's in great condition with lots of sunshine. The hurricanes take away the all the humidity. And so for days or weeks after a hurricane, the weather tends to be excellent.
A shout out to JMM Barkovich, the person who successfully guessed the final balloon and gender for the latest producer's gender reveal. I have to say he guessed blue and the correct balloon that we shot. And so anyway, I still owe JMM Barkovich some coffee. I'm sending you some coffee. That was the winner's prize on that one. And if you were somebody else, like there was like a Cindy, can you email me again? Cause I need to get, I got Barkovich's, but I need the other email. Cause I promised a prize for people who guessed correctly. But anyway, thank you for being in the chat and participating. And J.M. Barkovich says, your dad must be a neighbor of my sis and brother-in-law. They're safe and sound, have generator batteries and plenty of water. But this is video that's just coming out of Fort Myers, and it looks kind of messy there. And look at that car. So, see, yikes. That don't look good.
Yeah, my brother has a condominium.
Wow.
On Longboat Key, just outside Sarasota, and he had his car moved from ground level, and it looks like that was a smart decision.
Mm-hmm. Did you move your car?
Yeah, our 2 cars are on the 3rd and 4th floor of our local parking garage, just about a quarter mile to half mile away.
Mm-hmm. So I think there were some people who maybe misinterpreted what you said last time as just don't prepare at all. Don't have any preparation or plan or anything. Are these people swim? What is that? I don't know, parking spots or something. Anyway, yeah, wow, really bad flooding in Fort Myers. But you were prepared. Like you have generator, you get water. I mean, Floridians for the most part are used to that.
I've spent several years slowly preparing for the next one. I have 2 generators. I have a generator panel. We have hurricane film on our windows. A window might break, but water and wind will not get inside our house, even up to a Cat 5. And we put the cars in a parking garage. I'm more prepared than any of my neighbors. I've tied down all my garbage cans. I think preparation, just cool, calm, collected. I spent 2 full days basically tidying up the last minute things with ropes and some tape, that kind of thing. But it was calm. I had a friend come over and help me lift the outdoor furniture and get it inside yesterday. And we went for a swim. So to me, it was, I don't know, hurricanes get to be second nature here in Florida. And I don't really think about it that much anymore because I've been through so many of them. But preparation is absolutely key. The hurricane party doesn't start until after the hurricane. I was just enjoying in the video yesterday, watching the hurricane start to turn, and I didn't panic this year. It's such joy not to have that panic.
Sadie says there's no electricity in Largo near you, but you have electricity.
Yeah, we have electricity, and thanks for that because I have a friend that lives in Largo, and his generator, the carburetor, was clogged, and that happens to the cheap generators, the $300 ones. So when I invested, I bought 2 Honda inverter generators for $1,000 each, and I haven't used them for 5 years, but they're more dependable. Plus, I have 2 of them just in case one doesn't start. I got the second one, and that was planned. Now we do have a friend that has a place where he works on cars, his shop. And he runs his power there by generator. So my friend can always borrow his generator, and he's a lot closer than I am. Yeah, people can lose power, and generators are helpful. They're not critical. I mean, your freezer stuff is going to melt, and you might lose your refrigerator stuff. But invite your neighbors over and feed them, and go on with your life. If you don't have a generator, it's no big deal. Water, I think is important. Preparation with water. I have about my usual. I didn't have to get any extra. I have about 8 gallons of spring water that comes in bottled. My friend told me to fill the bathtub with water so I could flush the toilet, and I might do that later. But I don't know. No,
or you could do like Lily, the producer, does, and just go right out by your palm trees.
Yes. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, you'll figure out a way. When everybody was out of toilet paper, Jesse Lee Peterson said, "Just figure it out." What about corn cobs? I mean, the thing that most people don't realize is that the news media wants to panic us, but if we stay calm and just look at the situation in front of us, we have this innate ability. All us humans do when we're calm to figure out how to get done what we want to get done. We're innovative, we're creative. And that creativity is lost when we start to trust the mass media.
This is a shark swimming in Fort Myers that somebody posted. So Yeah, and the food sometimes just comes right to your door during a
Yes,
hurricane.
yes. All the shellfish that were stranded because of the low tide this morning. It was the lowest tide I've ever seen. Our sandbar has rarely poked its head above water, and it was completely dry this morning. All the water being sucked out, so there's a lot of shellfish out there.
Um, don't worry, the COVID vaccine will protect us from falling tree limbs and storm
That's
damage.
right.
Question, so they don't control you was something you said. Who is they?
Well, get Alex Jones's book, um, The Great Reset, and you'll see what's going on in our country is planned. The media are controlled by the people that own the media. The billionaires. It's a technocracy. Whether it's Google or Elon Musk or any of the big technology companies, Bill Gates, Microsoft, they are planning to control our behavior. They have implanted something like 200,000 people have brain chips now. And they're talking about monitoring us not just with 5G on our phones, but by putting a chip inside everybody so they know your every movement and your every feeling so that they can control you. Google doesn't work by what you're interested in. They say that. But the way Google figures out what to put in front of you is by how you react emotionally. And they know by which videos you pick what your emotion is. And they collect all that data. And I don't know, they want to control our behavior. And I believe they want to destroy the freedom in our country, because you can't have control and have freedom. You can't have equality and have freedom. And the push for equality is through the media from these techno giants.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at this guy. I can't even believe the
crazy.
Weather Channel did this to this reporter. I mean, that is
wow,
so wrong, dude.
That's awesome.
That guy could get killed right there.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is the
crazy.
stupidest.
Look at the sign.
The sign is going to impale him.
Yeah, I once was on Clearwater Beach years and years and years ago. I thought, well, it's only supposed to be a minor storm. And I stayed, and the winds got up above 70 miles an hour, and the palm trees were bent over like halfway. I mean, it's scary. That guy is nuts. That wind is probably gusting at 80, 90 miles an hour. He's crazy.
Jeff says, looks like the eye of the storm is going over my mom's place in Lake Placid. They're sticking it out. I think, Floridians sometimes get a bad rap for like sticking it out there. It's almost like the vaccine argument, are you going to evacuate? It's like a virtue signal in some ways. It becomes, oh, you're one of those people that sticks around. But I do think you make a valid point. If you're prepared, like you have a plan for what you're going to do, and you have supplies, you have probably more time to decide what you're going to do. And if you thought about it before, like ahead of time, and as you said, the hurricane can switch paths. Like, what if you had said, oh, well, we have friends in Fort Myers, so we're going to go stay with them because the hurricane's set to go right to our house. And then you drive to Fort Myers.
Yeah. Good point.
Anyway, I just can't, I cannot, I just can't even, it's hard for me to watch this video and take it seriously because what, I mean, I know that it makes for great television.
On,
it's such a liability, man. I mean, and this is Kyle Kolinsky, popular podcaster. I've seen polls where the Weather Channel is by far the most trusted news in the country. And you know what? They earned that. To me, this does not make me trust that you empower your journalists to do the right thing, because this says to me you don't care if your journalists die in the middle of a hurricane. This to me is so dumb.
Go to weather.com, the Weather Channel website. They're owned by IBM.
Why doesn't the reporter have a rope?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I did this video not too long ago about this reporter in South Carolina.
That's crazy.
I mean, look at this guy. Well, look at the sign. The sign right here.
Yeah,
I mean, if that thing,
bent over.
One of those things just starts flying through the air and impales him. Is that? I mean, what are they doing? This is so
Oh
dumb.
yeah,
I
it'd
mean, this is
be like a car going 80 miles an hour, and I don't know,
yeah, look at him right now. He's doing the
like,
Heisman, trying to hold on to the sign. I mean, what
yeah,
unless there's a big fan behind camera, and this is like a movie set or something. I can't, is that Jim Cantori? Um, this is another question too. Some people can't afford to leave the path. And I actually did come across that too. There were just people who just didn't have a whole lot of other options. So there are usually shelters, but they can get overcrowded. I don't know if you remember this, but when I was sent from Seattle to Florida to report on Irma with our sister station there, they Irma, first off, didn't end up being, it was once again projected to be a really bad storm, and it really wasn't. It was another one of those, like, where they have the chair meme, the chair is upside down and it says never forget Irma. It's just like another one of those. But they didn't have enough gasoline. There were gasoline shortages. That's one of the
yes,
big problems, is that people panic and then there's like no supplies, even if it doesn't have to be that way. So oftentimes in natural disasters or whatever, when the media starts to get everybody all whipped up, it's the human behavior, actually, not the natural behavior, the behavior of Mother Nature or whatever have you, that ends up creating the crisis.
great
And
point.
so there were all these fuel shortages, and so they were gonna, they kept sending us around to try to chase great video, go here, we heard this is happening here, or go there, we heard this happening there. Finally, I said, screw this. We're on like a quarter of a tank, and I'm going to get home to take a shower tonight at the hotel and get some dinner and a beer. So I'm not going to run out of gas right here. So I told the photographer I was working with, God bless him, Ryan Coe. Yeah, we had both come in from Seattle, and he was, I think, a little embarrassed that I said to the station manager that, we're sitting here in this parking lot and we're not moving until you find us gasoline. And then my boss in Seattle called and said, Allison, could you just be a little more gentle with the Florida team? Because we're used to you out here in Seattle, but I don't think they're used to you there anyway. But they put you in these situations where, it's just like, they may say, oh, we care about you, be safe or whatever, but they love this stuff. But this guy, I mean, like I said, he could just get impaled at any second. And I was trying to say, there was this reporter I did a video about not too long ago in South Carolina. She was shooting her own live shot. So, she sets up the camera and she sets up the lights and everything. And she's on the side of the road doing a live shot for them. I think it was either morning or evening, but it was very dark out. And so she has her camera by herself with the lights and everything. She's got her back to the road, and some car just comes by and hits her on the live shot. And there's no photographer there looking, to see what's coming up behind her. It's a construction zone. There's lights and traffic cones everywhere. And, a lot of journalists are like, wow, she's a badass. Look at this. That's awesome. I'm thinking, that's not badass. That's nuts. Like, why would you ever put your reporter in a situation like that? So I don't know. This to me is not impressive. I think this is insane. And that would not be me. At least I hope not, anyway.
It does sell spots.
What'd you say?
It sells advertising spots.
Yeah, it does. Reporters are cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Grandpa's wig just went flying by. Anyway, somebody says, please turn off the video. It's making them ill. Okay, we'll scroll to the next one. Okay, so yeah. Maybe that was Jim Cantori and Thursday's great. I don't know, man. That to me is negligent. Okay, and then here's Biden again. My house in Tampa is getting flooded and destroyed, but thank God I'm vaccinated, because that's apparently now part of the hurricane kit. So I guess any final thoughts, Dad, before we go?
I wanted to add something about what somebody said. Some people can't afford, to get out of the hurricane path or whatever. And it's true. And so the question comes down to, who is going to help that person? And unfortunately, in our country, we've gotten to the point where people just evacuate and don't even talk to their neighbor. They don't find, nobody knew. When I said to people, well, Swaraj, she's 73 years old, and she's told me she doesn't drive well, and her friends don't want her to come with her dog, so she had no place to go, and she's across the street from me. And nobody knew that on my street. Everybody thinks that, well, I got to take care of myself, and the government will take care of the old people. And it's just the dumbest way to look at things. We need to take care of our neighbors. Who's our neighbor? Well, the person that that we meet before the hurricane, who's afraid, or maybe it's somebody that lives close to us. It's not necessary to take responsibility for everybody, but we should investigate and find out who might need help. And so Swaraj and I made a pact. She said to me, basically, swear to me that you will not leave the island unless you contact me first. And I said, no problem, Swaraj. It's only me and you on the whole street that are staying here. And I'm not going to leave without you. And so she was content. She text messaged me only once. Is it safe to go outside? And because of her age, I said, the winds are going to be picking up. Why don't you wait till tomorrow morning? And I think we're going to be fine. And she also offered me, if I need a second floor because of a storm surge, that I can come over and stay on her second floor. So I think neighbors taking care of neighbors is a lost art in our country because of all the government programs, most of which fail. So many older people and poor people. Starting with we can go back to the civil rights movement when they started making people dependent on the government, and they made them poorer and poorer and poorer because they're not working when they're dependent on the government. Anyway, that's just a thought of mine. I did want
Hang on before you give your other thought. This is something you can do for your neighbor right now.
Oh, yes.
You can go to AllisonWinePromo.com and show them that they mean more to you than $5 first shelf wine. Okay, you get 50% off the wine and 50% off shipping. You help support the production here, the live reports. We're wearing our rain jackets for you inside. That should just show you how committed we are to the cause. So go to AllisonWinePromo.com. These are high altitude wines from remote regions of Argentina. I don't know if they have hurricanes there, but I do know that the high elevation can't talk about whether any excess precipitation with hurricanes has an effect. But allegedly, when you grow grapes very high up, they work much harder under the sun to protect the skin does to protect the grape, and so it affects the flavor. The contents of the wine, and these are wines you can't get at the grocery store. I really like this one here. The Kumpa is my favorite. It's slang for friend. It's a cowboy term, and that's my favorite one. But they're all very good. The one on the left is the Rogue Malbec, and it comes from a vineyard where they hand harvest the grapes. Very limited production on that one. And the one in the middle is also very good. This is one that we've had in my pairing for quite a while. It's at extreme altitude, almost 9,000 feet. So it's very, very high altitude. It's rare to get wine from that high up. So go check it out. You can also go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison and get 10% off your first order of USDA certified organic roasts from Nicaragua, also high altitude. And if you like light roast or dark roast or espresso, they've got everything for you there. But also, if you're a tea drinker, you can support my work with the Caturra tea. It's a tea made from the coffee fruit. It's very good. This kind of get a look at what this is. This is like a cold brew, I guess. Maybe it's a hot brew. I don't know. I cold brew mine. It's really, really good. Starting to make kombucha out of it. It tastes like a black tea. So high antioxidants, low caffeine, also good for you. Check it out. Okay, Dad, your final thought that you were going to share that I did not get because I cut you off for my sponsors.
Oh, no problem. I actually went over it. I went down to my bullet points and I covered it. About neighbors. We didn't do the spaghetti model, but anybody can look that up.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll do that. I can do that. Go ahead and tell us what it is, and I'll pull it up.
If you go to weather.com and look up the spaghetti model for Hurricane Ian, it updates like every couple hours or so, and you can really follow the hurricane well. I think it's just a great website for that. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see it there. Projected path.
Oh, here.
There it is. Yeah, that's it. So that can really help tell predicted winds, predicted storm surges, what time it's going to hit, when it's safe to, when the storm has passed, that kind of thing. And so I just refresh that website every 4 hours when the storm is close, and every 12 hours when it's coming, when it's about to come here. And that worked really well for me. I was prepared. I didn't panic. I could watch the storm. I knew how much time I had to get out before the winds would reach 40 miles an hour. They tell you the predicted winds, at a certain 12-hour window. So that was a huge help. Thanks to weather.com for that. And thanks to IBM for keeping weather.com going.
Do they make life vests for wine bottles? I don't know. We should look into that. That
Absolutely.
would.
Yeah, I think they do. Those rubber things.
I just looked up the brain chip thing. I saw that Elon Musk wanted to implant brain chips by 2022, but I didn't see that that's been successful. Where did you hear that 100 people have brain chips?
Jason Burmis on Rumble.
Oh,
and his
okay. Yeah, I should get Jason on again.
It's from NASA. NASA is not a space exploration company.
You mean government agency?
Yeah, sorry, government agency.
Company, but probably the same.
Elon Musk, listen to Jason Burmis. He just puts primary sources out there, and these are people from NASA, Elon Musk, talking in private venues, usually private meetings. But somebody tapes them, and somebody gets whistle blows and gets the information out. And Jason Burmis has shown a lot to me. It's really opened my eyes.
One time Jason was on and we were talking about the Epstein, or was it the Ghislaine trial? It must have been Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, but the Epstein case. And I said, sometimes I wonder if the prosecution and defense are like in on it together and it's all just a show. And he's like, Allison. I'll never forget. He's just like, Allison. He just like, okay, come on over. It's time to educate you a little bit about how the world works. It's nice. The ROKFIN rabbit hole community is very gentle with me as a former corporate news reporter because I have a lot to learn. But Moto Put says Allison is her dad's daughter. The resemblance is off the charts. It's true. I do look like my dad, but I do think I have a little bit of the of mom's side of the family, which would be the Morrow side.
The nose. Your nose is John Morrow's.
Yeah, and I think our kids have that nose too.
Yeah.
Okay, just use arm floats. So yeah, I could put like the producers' little floaties I could put on the wine bottles. That's a good idea. Brother-in-law in St. Pete is doing fine thus far. What's the coupon code? If there's no coupon code, just go to for either one of my sponsors, you just go to AllisonWinePromo.com. And if you click, that's the link you use, and then you order through that. You just start there. It'll automatically give you the discount. 50% off the wine and 50% off the shipping. And then Twin Engine, same thing. Just go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. It'll look different at the top once you hit enter, I think. But like once you go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison and you order through that, you'll get the 10% discount if it's your first order. And then, anything else that you buy after that, a certain cut of it goes to this channel so that you can support my work by buying coffee or tea. So thank you for doing that. That's all I have to do. Just go to the links. Okay, one last thing I was going to bring up is so just to go back to give Jim Cantori his due, that is him. I'm sorry, I still just think that's nuts. Okay, but look at this. What do you think about this? Swimmers, okay? Right now, this is Fort Myers, I think, too.
Fools.
That's why Florida gets such a reputation.
Sure.
The Pierside Grill in Fort Myers.
Yep. They probably put down a few at the Pierside Grill before they went out.
Yeah, I'm trying. Somehow it took me back to
Liquid Curry.
General, and I'm trying to find more stuff on. Here we go. I'll just say Hurricane Ian. See what the latest is here. So do you think, because your video shows, and so does some of the videos coming out of Tampa Bay, that the water level is quite low, that sometimes, it pulls back and then the surge comes in? Do you think that's a sign that you might get a powerful storm surge, or no?
No, it was not with Hurricane Irma, which was a very similar path. And no, the water gets sucked out when the hurricane is east of us, and then it comes back to normal. There has been no high tide. Okay, it's been low tide and lower tide. That's all we've had. And the last Hurricane Irma, Tampa Bay, when it went east of Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay was dry. You could walk across it like the Red Sea in Moses.
This is allegedly video of fire departments in Florida underwater. That seems kind of odd.
Well, remember, Florida is a very low state. I mean, there aren't many hills. The highest point, I think, in Florida is in the state of Florida is the landfill in Miami. That's the biggest hill. And I think the biggest spot in Pinellas County is 52 feet. So most of us are really low level. And, you know, a 10-foot storm surge, and it can do that. It can do that to the fire department if they're on, especially if they're on an island.
Here, this is a TMZ reporting that the Weather Channel's getting slammed for Mike Seidel in the winds of this Category 4 hurricane. So I don't know why people. Well, I don't know. People are saying that was Jim Cantore. I don't know. But this guy, apparently people care that he's
like
out.
150 miles an hour. That's crazy. That is so foolish.
Let's see what this. Okay, that's just rain video. But let's look at. Yeah, see, I've walked around in waist high water and trailer. You know, well, trailer parks is not the nice way to mobile home communities would be the nice way to say it. And the nastiest thing is that usually the sewage comes up from underground, so you're actually like walking in people's crap.
Yes,
that was one of my least favorite parts of the job. Okay, we're gonna watch him and see what happens to this Weather Channel reporter. They're saying again, this is Mike Seidel. Of course, they're playing horse ads because they know I have a horse because they're spying on me. All right, here we go. See, this doesn't look as bad as the other guy. Look at him.
Still Cat 4. That's serious.
Yeah, but the other guy was he had a sign.
On the street. This guy's on the beach.
Oh, look at him! Dang.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, the reporters
quite a bit.
Say that again.
If he got blown over, he would fly. Okay, he's really digging in.
Yeah. It says wind 31 miles per hour.
That's all?
Yeah.
Well, you can see when wind gets to like 70 miles an hour, I'm inside. There's no way I go outside in that when the palm trees are bending over. But 40 miles an hour, you know.
Yeah, that didn't look as bad as the other guy.
Yeah, 30 miles an hour, that's nothing. He's acting a little bit.
when you were talking about yeah, it was him. Okay, so it was oh, he got hit by a flying tree branch. Look at this. Weather Channel reporter Jim Cantore hit by flying tree branches, Category 4 hurricane. Ian makes landfall. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that even when we had these issues in Seattle, that a lot of people, because we get these rain and windstorms in Seattle, and it wasn't like flooding usually was not the issue. It was like tree branches. I remember tree branches and trees just not falling over because the ground would get really wet and like bust through people's roofs or fall over onto people, or a tree branch would go flying through the air and hit you in the head. And it's the flying objects that are the scariest. I just don't understand why you would put your reporter in a situation like that.
Crazy.
They probably like it. I mean, they're like adrenaline addicted, I guess, but I wouldn't want to put my employee in that situation, or I'd make them sign a waiver, I guess. I don't know.
Our palm trees fruit around, with all their seeds and fruit, flowers, whatever, around late July and then through the next couple months. So around August or so, I have our trees trimmed, and this the Sicilian guy comes and climbs the trees up to 40 feet. He's crazy. He fell 30 feet one time, and then he trims the trees for me, and he finished up after about 4 weeks, every Wednesday for 4 weeks. He just finished up a week or two ago. So we had all the loose branches were gone on our property, which was very fortunate. Should there have been a higher wind.
Somebody on ROKFIN says that every storm is the worst ever and every election is the most important. I have grown jaded after 7 decades on this earth.
I really like that. When I was an orthopedic surgeon, the mothers would say, "How bad's the fracture in my child?" And I was taught to say, "It's the worst one I've ever seen." And then when you came out of the operating room or out of the cast room to talk to the mother and you said, "Well, I got it back perfect," then they just loved you. But if you said, "Oh, this is no big deal," and it didn't come out right, then they hated you. So a lot of that's psychology.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if I can show it. Somebody on Rumble was asking if I've ever reported in a situation like this. I've never been in a category 4 hurricane. I've been in tropical storms that were worse than some of the hurricanes I was sent to report on. There was one hurricane, I can't even remember which one it was. We were sent to the east coast of Florida to Jacksonville, and I remember doing an overnight shift. And that was the worst part about it, was that I had to stay up all night and it was just nothing. And I got rained on, so I was soaking wet. I mean, it was just, I just stood on the beach and it was just rain. But the winds weren't really that high. And it's just, it just gets nasty in the live trucks. Like, you usually have a live truck operator, a photographer, and you've gotten all these nasty snacks with tons of artificial flavoring to just keep you up all night in the tiny live truck, and you smell bad because you're soaking wet, and it doesn't even matter to dry off, and then you get swamp feet and everything. And I mean, it's just and then it's you're just like, you often, it's not like what we're seeing, where people are out in this kind of insane, what we're talking about, like what you're looking at on the screen right now. It's usually just, you're sent out there and you're standing there, and then your bosses want you to make it interesting when it's not interesting because there's nothing happening, but you can't just say that. I mean, you can't just say there's nothing happening back to you. They would fire you for that. So then you have to figure out how to fill like a minute or 90 seconds worth of time. Look at the water, just keep looking at it. I know it doesn't look any different than yesterday, but just keep looking at it anyway, because
that's a really
I just need to get through this.
When I've been here 37 years, and the storm that did the most dramatic physical changes was the no-name storm. There were no reporters because nobody expected it to be, a hurricane, and they never really measured the winds. I don't think they weren't even following it, and yet it closed a pass that yachts used to be able to just go through north of us, and there was a big fight over it. They never reopened the pass. But imagine a storm that has that much force that it can close a navigation pass from the intercoastal out into the Gulf. I mean, tremendous force, most force we've ever seen probably on Clearwater Beach in my time here. And yet it was a no-name storm, no reporters.
Mm-hmm.
Unpredictable.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to find my old videos from when I did. Let me just do a quick search. What does it look like where you are? If you look out the window right now, what is it still
I did
the
look
same?
out the window, and it's calm as can be. I mean, the wind it's dying. The wind's dying down. And that's predicted because once the hurricane hits land, it slows very dramatically.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, there was this guy that I did this report on. Was it what is that, Dale Mabry in Tampa, and this guy was pushing all the cars out of the road.
That's cool.
I'm looking it up. All right, tell us the number one, in your opinion, the number one mistake that people make when they move to Florida, because there are a lot of people moving to Florida right now, and it doesn't have to be hurricane related.
Number one mistake.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember the biggest mistakes I made. In the middle of July, we thought you didn't need air conditioning. In fact, we didn't know the house that we had rented had air conditioning. We were sleeping. It was like 94 degrees in the house in the middle of the night. And let's see what else. I would say here it is. The biggest mistake that people make when they come to Florida is they stay inside until like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they go outside from 10 o'clock till about 4 o'clock when they haven't lived in Florida before. You got to be really careful with the sun here. You can build up to it, and I go out in the middle of the day now and get a couple hours of sun, even all day sometimes, once your skin gets used to it. But the big mistake people make, I think, is they don't realize how powerful the sun is here. It's intense.
I can't find it. I keep looking. I'm looking as hard as I possibly can. I just wanted to find that Dale Mabry video. I know we saved it. I should have thought about this ahead of time. Um, the because this was like my resume tape that we sent around to get jobs when I had back when I had an agent, and I paid basically 20% of my income to this agency, which was not fun.
I have a second worst thing that people do.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, please do. I look for
Okay,
this.
so if nobody has seen the bumper sticker is, we don't care how you did it up north. And what that means is people come down here, and the big mistake they make is, oh well, we'll plant these trees and we'll make it look like, like it used to be back up north, and we'll and they just fight against everything, when all you should really do when you come to Florida is wait until various Florida plants, maybe even palm trees, decide to seed in your yard, and then okay, maybe you could pot them and put them somewhere else if you want. But the best thing to do is just let them sit where they are and let them see how they grow, and then the ones you don't like, take them out. But stick with the Florida fauna and flora, the Florida trees and shrubs and that kind of thing. You just grow naturally. We have a beautiful yard. We don't irrigate. I stopped fighting it. I don't know, about 15 years ago. Stopped trying to plant things in various spots and just let things grow, see what happened. Took out the stuff that we didn't like, and it's beautiful.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to give up on this. I'm just looking up my old management company. What? Say that again, Dad?
Time for a glass of Malbec.
Yeah, time for a glass of Malbec. We'll have to just do another. We'll just have to do a look back next time. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess if you don't have any other final thoughts, I'm looking at the comments. I think, look, your dad is so cool. Lots of fans. Though there were a couple guys that said, well, what was the thing you said? Florida man says cancel home insurance, homeowners insurance as a hurricane makes landfall. And then one guy was like, this is very irresponsible. But just once again, you weren't saying like, don't care, don't give a flip about it all. You're just basically trying to say that if you freak out too early, you could be.
I'm waiting till last minute, and nothing could be further from the truth. If the hurricane continued straight at us, I would have left, 12 to 24 hours, probably 12 hours, depending on the winds. I want to get out and over the bridges out of Tampa Bay before the winds get above 40 miles an hour, so they don't close the bridges. So, yeah, I'm prepared, but I'm not going to make the same mistake as I did before and panic and get on the wrong side of the hurricane path because I evacuated based on some prediction that these predictions just don't come true. I think it's good to watch the model so you can be aware and be prepared, but I wouldn't act on the model until 12 hours before, and that way you'll be fine. My neighbor up the street left with his family. They were worried about the winds, and the winds are going to be much stronger where he's staying in Tampa compared to here. They went out this morning, when if they had waited until this time right now, I'm gone outside, piece of cake. So no, I'm not last minute at all. I believe in preparation, but I also don't believe in panic. There is a third way. There's a better way. We don't have to evacuate and run away. We don't have to say, no, I'm staying in my house no matter what. And, I'm going to, like a guy on the other side, on the Bay side, who said to me, I have a third floor house. I got everything out of the garage, and I did this and I did that and I did the other thing, and I'm staying here. And, no, the third way is wait and see. It is a great way to live life. When you're not sure, don't make a decision. Gather more information. Just stay calm and wait and see. And when it's time to make the decision, it'll come to you.
Wine is on the way. Thank you for everybody who went to Allison Wine Promo to support my work. Okay. Well, maybe next time there's a hurricane that hits, I guess we're basically we're going to be done with hurricane coverage for now, right? Because basically it's on its way past you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Dad, thanks for doing this. We hope everybody else stays safe.
I really enjoy doing these things. Who knows? Next time, maybe it'll be an earthquake and I can stand outside. But we'll do it again.
Yes, and I wanted to give your locals community one last shout out. So again, right, drchipabrahamson.locals.com. You go
Yep.
over and join his community for free if you become a supporter. It's what, $5 a month, and they can chat and ask questions. And you're a orthopedic surgeon. You do a lot of natural health stuff.
Yes, and $10 a month, you get private chat and public chat. $5 a month. You know, I'm a seasoned doctor, 40 some years as a doctor, and I know how medicine works. I give great second opinions when people have questions about my doctor said this, and you know, what do you think? I don't tell people what to do. I don't treat them necessarily, but I give great curbside consults. I can tell somebody whether or not they need to get a second opinion before they move forward, or whether they don't need a second opinion, whether what they've been told makes sense or if it doesn't make sense. That's the stage I'm in. I'm 68 years old, and I have a lot of wisdom to share. So thank you.
Yes, and you can also go to AllisonMorrow.locals.com. That's also where I am. You can join my editorial board. We have editorial board meetings on Saturdays, usually. Sometimes I have to reschedule because we have 2 producers now who like to jack up the schedule quite a bit. But at AllisonMorrow.locals.com, you can give me feedback on what you liked from the week before, what you didn't like. You can suggest interview ideas. A lot of the interviews that I have on, a lot of the guests I have on are suggested by my locals community. I have a small editorial board, really, like compared to some of the other big creators out there. So it's a really great group. We communicate quite a bit. Like I said, 1 meeting a week at least, and exclusive content. There's a show that Bill Doris, my friend, used to be in TV news, does with me for supporters only on ROKFIN Locals and Patreon called Tittle Tattle. And so go over to alsmar.locals.com and join my editorial board as well. We are going to sign off. Dad, thanks again. Hope you guys stay safe. Hope everybody stays safe. Yeah. And
Bye,
now you
everyone.
can take your jacket off.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I can take the jacket off and have some grass-fed beef and from a local farm and a glass of Malbec.
There you go. All right, everybody. Take care.
All right, bye now.